Hey, what's going on, guys? Here with another video for you, and this one's I'm gonna ask you to think outside the box today. Um, I've been mulling over an idea the last few days about you know, blanket thoughts or umbrella thoughts. Um, and what exactly is an umbrella or blanket thought? Well, basically, what it is taking one situation or experience and making it, I guess, true for a lot of situations. And how does this pertain to your anxiety and panic? Well, we take one situation and make it true for so many situations. And what I mean, or how I can break this down is like from my experience, like when I had panic and anxiety, like I had situations that were rather uncomfortable for me, like maybe going to a restaurant, social situations in general. Going to parties, going out with friends, going on trips, any situation where I wasn't really in my like safe zone, I guess you want to call it, like, being at home. So, okay, for me, let's just take restaurants. I would go into restaurants and I would start to get these panicky feelings and symptoms, body symptoms, somatic symptoms, whatever you want to call them. And like I would get dizzy, and I'd get heart palpitations and just like this overwhelming fear. You know what I mean? I would just get this, like, I don't know, like just a real want to get the hell out of there. And I started wondering. I'm like, what stems of this? Like, why does this continue to happen? Because my anxiety and panic started 7 some odd years ago. So I'm thinking, the one situation that started this whole cycle, I mean, is continuing obviously to affect me in my day-to-day life, as it is probably is for you too. I don't know how long you've had, panic and anxiety, but, for as long as you've had it, that one occurrence, the thing that started this whole hamster wheel, is continuing to affect you every day. So really what I want to do is I want to break it down. Like, say you have 300 experiences in your life of going to a restaurant, party, bar, whatever. You know what I mean? Give or take a few. I mean, it's going to be skewed depending on how old you are. I'm 32 years old. I figure I've probably been to 300 parties, bars, or, restaurants in my lifetime, something like that. And what I think to myself is like, why do I continue to have these panicky feelings when I go in there? Well, what I think it boils down to is, you take that one occurrence, that one panic attack, and obviously you're pertaining it to everything in your life. And we're going to use restaurants, for the sake of time, just use this one thing. But it's, every time I walk in, I have these panicky feelings. you know the first however many hundred times I've been to a restaurant in my life never scared me. Obviously for obvious reasons. I didn't have panic attacks. I didn't have panic disorder. I had fun. I enjoyed my time there. You go and you eat. You have some laughs. You have good conversation, whatever. Then panic disorder comes along. Then it seems like each and every time that you go after that, you fear, losing control, or you fear, the body symptoms that you're having at the time. And I don't know, it's like I was really thinking like hardcore, like why exactly do I continue to feel this way? Well, I think what it boils down to is, when I'm reinforcing this fear, you know what I mean? I'm making it stronger. You're making it stronger. Because, I mean, if you take, a number like 300 times and say, the first 150 times you visited a restaurant were prior to your anxiety and panic disorder, you didn't have one occurrence, you had fun, it was great, you have the one occurrence, or you've had multiple panic attacks, and then the fear of having that next one in a social situation is what drives all these symptoms. So what exactly are we doing to ourselves? I mean, like, you're really, how many times in your life have you heard practice makes perfect? Whether in a negative or a positive light, whatever you do over and over again, you're going to get good at. So whether you're doing it consciously or subconsciously, you're building this fear. You're becoming better and better and better about being afraid of things. I know that may sound a little crazy, but that's really actually what you're doing. Because, are you afraid of the situation, or are you afraid of what could happen? And if you think about it, your first 150 times you went, you had a good time. You have a bad situation, you have bad panic attack, or you've had panic attacks, But each and every time you go into this restaurant, or you go to this party, or you go into this other somewhat social situation, what actually happened? You know what I mean? Think about that. Like, really think deeply. Like, what actually happened while you're there? And, you know, for social anxiety sufferers, I mean, sure, this is a common occurrence, but I'm not an introverted person. Like, I'm not scared of social situations whatsoever. I mean, I can talk to anybody. I mean, I can get up and sing in front of people. I'll give speeches all day. Like, none of that stuff really affects me. But, you know, a social anxiety sufferer, I can understand where that could be. But yet, these social situations are still impacting me on a day-to-day basis. So, what I'm proposing is that fear is following you into these next 149 occurrences. You know what I mean? You have the good 150, you have the bad situation, and the next 149, all it is worrying about having that panic attack. Like, what has actually happened? You know, you break that down. Like, think about what's actually happened. You know, whether it's going to the gym. You know what I mean? Your first 100 times you went was probably good. You had panic attacks. Now it's scary each and every time, and you're afraid to go. You're afraid to drive. You know what I mean? Like, you know, not many people at 16 already have had anxiety and panic disorder. I mean, sure, it happens, but it's not the common thing. You know, so, you know, if you take any situation in your life and you break it down, you know, you had X amount of experiences that were good, panic attack, panic disorder onset, and then how you've tortured yourself ever since. Because, you know, I mean, think about it. If you want to take driving, for instance, how many times you got in the car and you've been terrified the whole time? You're tight and you're having heart palpitations and you're dizzy and you feel disoriented and you can't really focus. But you got there and you were fine. You didn't die. You didn't pass out at the wheel. You didn't veer off and smoke 3 other cars like you feared the whole time. So, I mean, I guess what I really would like you to do is, like, I mean, like, write this down. Like, write down. It's like, I had 100 great experiences. I started panic and anxiety disorder. Then the next 149 occurrences, sure, I had the symptoms, I had the fears, but what actually happened? Like, don't make that a story. Like, you know, your perception is what's really keeping you down. I mean, like I said, think about that. It's your perception that's doing it. It's not what really happened. What really happened was you were scared the whole time, but nothing actually happened. All the fears that you had never came true. Like, none of them actually happened. I mean, wrap your mind around that for just a split second. I mean, how many times have you been to the ER? How many times have you, went to the doctor, terrified you have, this illness, that illness, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. How many times does it actually happen, though? And, once you can get a grasp on that and think about, like, if, say, 1 in every 50 times you actually have a panic attack, that's pretty good. I mean, you have 49 other times that you could be having a great experience. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't let this continue to wreck your life. You don't have to. Enjoy it until it's a time where you have to deal with it. Keep yourself mindful of your situation. Keep yourself present. So if something does happen, you're ready for it. You're in sound in mind to take care of the situation. I think that would be more calming than trying to be on high alert and, make sure nothing bad happens. I mean, you're on high alert the whole time, like, okay, I don't want to pass out. I don't want to act crazy in front of everybody. I don't, want to die. Think about that. If you actually were to have some sort of a cardiac issue, don't you want to be somewhat sound in mind in order to, either let someone know what to do, take the baby aspirin, all the crazy things that you think about in your head and that you prepare for on a day-to-day basis? Wouldn't you rather be sound in mind than allowing this fear to, like, consume you to the point to where you're actually its bitch? I mean, and I hate to even use those terms because I know it's a little harsh, but I mean, that's really what's happening. It's like you're making this fear grow. You know what I mean? The fear of this boogeyman, this anxiety, it's as big as your mind makes it. You know what I mean? It's only as big as that. You know what I'm saying? So if you keep squishing them down into this, that's as scary as it'll be. But when you make it out to this, that's when it starts to really affect your life. That's when you start losing jobs and you're losing relationships and stuff. I mean, we don't want that. No one wants that. I got a hold of my anxiety and panic by seeing it for what it really was doing to me. And it was really just scaring me and nothing more. You know what I mean? It's really no different than going to a haunted house. Except, granted, you pay $10 to go into the haunted house. No one would pay $10 for a panic attack. I get that. But at the same time, it's just thoughts. Thoughts, only thoughts. You know, fears, only fears. How many times did you actually pass out? How many times did you actually go crazy? How many times did you actually die? Well, if you're watching this, I'm pretty certain it was 0. Just something to keep in mind. New video should be coming out, I don't know, a few more days. Like I said, I'm going to try to roll out a few more kind of quicker. Please follow me on Facebook. It's Power of Self. Just type it in the search bar. You'll be able to find me, like my page. And like I said, we'll keep rolling these out. And like I said, I'm going to continue my fight against this. And hopefully we can get through this together. I want you to get to where I'm at. Panic and anxiety free. You guys have a great week. Thanks for watching.